Welcome to part 2 of navigating your job or internship search. This part, we're really going to dive into the tools that will help make the process discussed in part 1 feel a little bit more manageable. And so I wanted to start out with the same reminder to please try not to compare yourself in a negative way to your peers and know that your journey is your own. And so some of these tools will be more relevant to you than others. So pick what's relevant and leave what's not. Don't worry about it. You can always come back. That's what's nice about the virtual life. Okay, so you'll see our pathway here is identical to part 1, and instead of just talking about theoretically what the process looks like, we'll talk more about specific tools at every part of the way. So we talked about doing your research. That first piece of research, researching yourself, can really just be done by thinking about what it is you're interested in, what it is you value, and writing that down on a piece of paper. If you want help talking through any of that, definitely come in and see a career counselor, and all of that information on how to set up an appointment will be at the end of this presentation. Other tools for checking out those opportunities, as you might remember, we said to discover opportunities, there are those 3 main strategies: utilizing job boards, doing company-specific outreach, and utilizing the people in your network. You'll see this 4th little bubble here says other ideas. It's really just a combination of the 3 approaches that we talk about above. And so when we talk about job boards, what I really mean is those websites or those platforms where they have job descriptions posted, and they typically have that apply here button right there. So those places where you know for sure, okay, here is a position that someone is hiring for, here's what they're looking for, and here's how I apply. Really straightforward, really beneficial, and as mentioned, probably the most popular or most thought of approach to doing the job search. So how I've organized these job boards is from most specific to more general. And the reason I do that is because it can be very overwhelming to sift through thousands and thousands of opportunities that might not actually be aligned with what you're interested in. So some of the more general job boards we go over later on, even if you add filters, might still populate positions that you're really just not aligned with. And so I like to start with the most specific so that ideally you might not even need to get to the more general ones. So the most specific job board I could think of was your department job board. And really why this is most specific is because your department is not in the business of going and seeking out recruiters for this page on their website. And so if an employer is posting on this job board, it typically means an employer has sent an email to somebody in your department and they have created this job board for you all there because of the demand from employers. And so if you think about it, an employer who's reaching out to a specific department at a specific university is really invested in that university and that major. And so if your resume comes through and you can show them, hey, I'm a horticulture and crop science student at Cal Poly, they're going to be way interested in you as an applicant from the beginning. So a really good place to start and a really good indicator that these employers are going to be interested in hiring you. The next more specific one is our campus-wide job board, Mustang Jobs or Handshake, which can be found on your Cal Poly portal on the left-hand side. And what's really nice about Handshake is it takes information from the registrar's office about your degree and your major, and it will populate positions that are typically more aligned with what your major is looking for. And then beyond that, you can create your own filters. As you can see here, you can filter full-time job, part-time, internship, and even more. And so utilize those filters again so that you're primarily seeing those positions that you're actually interested in. The other nice thing about Handshake is it is primarily positions for current students or recent graduates. So it does a lot of the filtering of those upper to mid-level positions you might not yet be qualified for. Next, we have this job listing links page on our website. So if you go to our homepage and click where to find a job or internship, you can click down and check on the listing links, and then these are going to be industry-specific job boards. So again, ideally, if you know that your degree is in ag business and you're interested in working in agriculture, you might want to focus on agriculture-specific job boards. And so that's a really nice place to look for a variety of job boards, but still within the industry you're interested in working for. After that, we have LinkedIn. And so LinkedIn seems like a pretty general or pretty large job board, and you would be right. The benefit or the difference is that LinkedIn's algorithm will actually track what you search and what you favorite, and then generate jobs that are more aligned with what you're looking for you. They also have a really extensive filter, and so it's really helpful to go in and save your search so that if anything does populate in the industry that you're looking for, it'll send you an email. And that's true actually for a lot of these job boards. You can create those saved searches or those favorite searches, and it will actually do the outreach for you, or it will send you an email and let you know, hey, something that you're interested in has just been posted. And that's a really great way to kind of take some of the weight off of your shoulders of coming in and checking on updates every day. After LinkedIn, then we do have those more general job boards, Indeed.com, Monster Jobs, Idealist, Onet. Some new ones are ZipRecruiter, anything that you hear of. Google, right? You can just Google jobs that you want. All of those are still going to be job boards, anything that posts those positions. So know that those are all available to you. Again, best thing I can do for all job boards, or say for all job boards, is to create those filters and create those saved searches so that you are doing less work of actually scrolling through the opportunities. And so next what I want to come to is this company specific. And so in that first presentation, you might have been asking yourself, okay, hobbies are good, companies I'm aware of are good, but I don't really have that many. And so this is really some tools to learn about other companies that you might want to target in your approach. And so GSR is actually the graduate status report, and it looks a little different now. So I'm opening it up on our website. You can click on this dashboards and you can check this employer data. And what it's going to do is generate this list of employers, and then you can filter by major, location, all that good stuff. And you can see what employers are hiring Cal Poly graduates. And so, it's a really good indicator of if they're hiring our graduates, they're likely to hire more, because they understand the capacity to which the Cal Poly students can actually join the workforce really quickly. And it's true, learn by doing does set you apart as a student. I've sat in on a panel where an employer was describing that what takes a typical student 6 to 9 months to learn will take a Cal Poly student almost 3 months to learn. And so if you can cut the training time in a third or half, that's going to save employers significant amounts of money. And so as employers recognize that by hiring past Cal Poly students or past Cal Poly alum, they're going to want to hire more. So you have that benefit going for you. So utilize that by searching companies that are frequently hiring Cal Poly students. And then another favorite is this alumni page on LinkedIn. And so we can navigate there as well. And so this is what it'll look like. And what you can do here is filter by what they studied. So say I am an ag business student, and say I want to do marketing. I'm going to search ag biz and marketing, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to look and see who is doing marketing that graduated with ag business at Cal Poly. And let's just say I'm really interested in e-commerce and growth platforms. And I see that Kelsey works for Kraft Heinz. And I can go and look at those companies and actually see, okay, how many Cal Poly alum are they hiring? learn more about them, and then see on their LinkedIn page if they're hiring for any positions. So it looks right now they have 30 positions recommended for me, but you can also go to their jobs tab and see all of the positions broken down. So take a look at that. What's really nice also about LinkedIn is that it generates this similar pages or affiliated pages lists. And so you can kind of get a feel for maybe some companies that are in the same industry or at least the same size or same function that you might not have thought of or heard of before. And you can get some good ideas for companies you might want to reach out to. And so that's another way to learn about companies specifically, utilizing LinkedIn. And then Cal Poly Career Connections is another platform that we just launched last spring. And again, you can kind of come to this, explore the community, and just see what types of companies are alumni working for. And let me backtrack and say, this platform was set up so that alumni could sign up to serve as speed mentors or points of resource for students that are interested in learning more about their fields. So again, I can come in and I can search agribusiness. And if I wanted, I can say marketing. And then I can come through and look at these people's profiles, right? And see like, okay, he works at LiveRamp. And what you'll notice with both of these platforms is I'm starting to get into that people or that network strategy. And so with both of these platforms, both LinkedIn and Cal Poly Career Connections, I can go to individuals and I can ask them to connect. What's really nice about Cal Poly Career Connections is that it is actually set up so that alumni have opted in to responding to your inquiries. So while you can do the same feature on LinkedIn, ideally your response rate is going to be much higher with Cal Poly Career Connections, even if you have a slightly smaller pool of alumni to choose from. What's also really nice is it generates this beautiful template for you, so you don't have to worry about how to word things or what exactly to say. I definitely recommend coming in and tailoring it a little bit or tweaking it a little bit, but it has that outline for you, which is really nice. And what this looks like on LinkedIn is you could always connect with Kelsey and add a note and say, hey, Kelsey, I'm really interested in e-commerce. I saw you're an ag biz graduate from Cal Poly. I'm in my second year, really interested in the summer internship. Do you have any tips and tricks for getting into the field? And so you can really utilize both Kelsey and Sam as resources. And because they're alum, they're going to be so much more excited about giving back to you. What you can also do is scroll through Kelsey's page. And again, this is kind of utilizing that people resource, but also seeing companies. But you can see, where did she start? And what positions did she hold as a student? And so you can see sustainability intern at Driscoll's, marketing intern at Driscoll's, promotions intern at San Luis Obispo downtown. So if you were really interested in where Kelsey ended up, you might take a look at where she began. And you, again, even though I say don't compare yourself to others, you might get some ideas of where to begin or some ideas of companies that are hiring for specific internships earlier on in the process. So those are those platforms. And then now that we're full on into the people strategy, here's just a quick reminder of all the different people that you can access. Start out very specific with your faculty. Definitely come in and talk to your career counselor, previous supervisors, academic advisors. And then I start getting much more general and saying your neighbor, a coach, your friend's uncle, a grocer. And this may seem silly, but again, you never know who knows who. And so even if it's just letting your coach know, yeah, I'm really in this internship search. I'm kind of interested in doing wine marketing, but I don't really know where to start. tell your coach that's what you're going through, right? Or let your grocer know, oh, this is my favorite wine. I'd love to do marketing for them. You have no idea what's going to come of it. But the more you talk about it, the more you're putting out into the world opportunities for doors to be open. So keep that in mind. And then you'll see this note here about considering an informational interview. What that is again, just reaching out to people and asking if they have insights or advice or tips or tricks, or even just asking questions about how they got to where they were, what they do on a day-to-day basis, anything that's going to help you gain some insight into that position or that industry or that company. At the very least, you're leaving with some very valuable information. At the very most, you have a new connection to add to your network in a field that you're really interested in. So definitely utilize that tool. And then this is part of that other ideas, just other ways to get involved. Joining clubs, taking GEs or electives that really align with your interests, volunteer when you can, and come to career services events. We have career fairs, which are huge and obvious ways of getting positions, but some other opportunities are really attending information sessions, emerging markets panel series, any other panel series, any workshop or event that's going to invite an employer to campus. If that employer is sending someone to campus, again, they are invested in Cal Poly students, and that's a really good sign that you are going to be a strong applicant for one of their positions. So take advantage of those opportunities. It's never going to hurt to meet someone in the field that you're interested in. For clubs and classes and volunteering, again, it's just opening up the door to talk to people, to get connected, to get access to opportunities that might not even be posted on job boards yet. So take whatever chance you can get, pursue those things that you're curious in and interested about, and take advantage of all that being a student has to offer. And so that's kind of the bulk of some tools I would use to do your research, and really the bulk of this presentation. So we'll be wrapping up shortly, don't worry. Really, as you're tailoring everything, again, I mentioned that checklist approach. Do that same thing for your resume, your cover letter, and all of your other online platforms. Preparing for your interview, everything. Get to know the job description, get to know the company, get to know the people in the company, anything that you can collect about that company, and then align your experiences, align your all of your materials to that position, to that job, to that company, and just make it as specific as possible. As you're working through your timeline, something that could be helpful if you're an Excel person is this job search record. So keeping track of the companies that you've reached out to. Did you apply online? Did you send in your cover letter and resume? Did you hear back? Did you follow up? Did you interview? Keep track of all of that. It can get so lost in the shuffle of all these different emails, all these different communications back and forth. So it can definitely behoove you to be on the front end of that and have it all in one place to come back to and keep track of. And then finally, my favorite part, celebrate every tiny victory. So even if it's setting up that LinkedIn account, or even if it's just going and exploring some of those job boards that are listed under the listing links, all of that is a tiny victory, and know that you are taking important steps toward your job and internship search. And as always, please come see us any step along the way. Appointments, again, really amazing if you are kind of struggling with articulating those values or those interests, and that VIPs part of your research. Drop-ins, we can do a quick overview of any of the resources we just went over. And please take advantage of all those events and workshops that we have. Thank you all so much for sitting through this section of your job and internship search.